Hello everyone, myself Namrata Pagare, Assistant Professor, KK Wagh Institute of Engineering, Education and Research, Nasik. The topic which we are going to see is exception conditions in 80386 processor. So what are these conditions? These are the conditions which are detected by the processor when executing instructions, and they are classified as fault, trap and abort depending on the way they are reported, and also whether restart of the instruction that caused the exception is supported by the processor. As non-maskable interrupt and exceptions are recognized by the processor, so they are assigned predetermined identifier from the range 0 to 31. Not all of these numbers are used by the processor. So we are going to study one by one each of these conditions. Interrupt 0, which is a divide error, which is a fault which occurs because of divide or I divide instruction when the divisor is 0. Let's see an example. As you can see, a number that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is a dividend, it is stored in EAX register, and divisor, which is 0, it is stored in PX register. Whenever divide instruction is executed, it will find that the divisor is 0 and divide error exception will be reported by the processor. Interrupt 1, which is a debug exception. Processor triggers this interrupt for many different conditions, and it depends whether the exception is fault or a trap on the conditions reported by the processor. So let's see those conditions. The first condition is instruction address breakpoint fault, data address breakpoint trap, general detect fault, single step trap, and task switch breakpoint trap. Interrupt 3, which is a breakpoint exception. So INT3 instruction causes this trap, and INT3 instruction is 1 byte long, which makes it easy to replace an opcode in an executable segment with a breakpoint opcode. Normally, debuggers use breakpoints as a way of displaying registers, variables, etc. at crucial points in a task. Let's see an example of breakpoint exception. As you can see, a number is stored in EAX register and EBX register, and a counter value, that is 5, is stored in CX register. In label L1, the two registers, that is EAX and EBX, are added, and a breakpoint is added at label L1. So every time when L1 label is called by the processor, the content of EAX register will be reported, or the content of EAX register will be displayed. So this is one of the advantage of using breakpoint exception to display register variables. Interrupt 4, which is an overflow exception. It is a trap which occurs when the processor encounters an INTO instruction and overflow flag is set. Let's see an example of it. As you can see, a number 7F whose decimal equivalent is 127 is moved in AL register. 1 is added with AL register, which results to a number that is 80H whose decimal equivalent is 128. As we all know, signed integer number has the range minus 128 to plus 127. So as the result is 128, it is resulting in overflow, and because of that overflow flag is set and overflow exception will be reported by the processor. Interrupt 5, which is a bound check exception. It is a fault which occurs when the processor, while executing a bound instruction, finds that the operand exceeds the specified limit. So a program can use bound instruction to check a signed array index against signed limits defined in a block of memory. For example, an array of 10 numbers is declared with starting index 0 to 9. So whenever an array of 10 index is accessed by the processor, it will report exceeding the specified limits and bound check exception will be reported. Interrupt 6, which is invalid opcode. This is a fault which occurs when an invalid opcode is detected by the execution unit. Point to be noted here is this exception is not detected until an attempt is made to execute the invalid opcode. It means that by prefetching an invalid opcode does not cause this exception, but it is caused whenever the instruction is executed. For example, move ax comma bx. It means the content of bx is moved into ax using the operand opcode move, which is an invalid opcode. So by fetching move, it will not result in invalid opcode, but it will report the exception whenever move instruction is executed. And the next case when invalid opcode is reported, it is when the type of operand is invalid. For example, jump to AX, where AX is an invalid operand. So this type of exception occurs when the type of operand is invalid for the given operand. Interrupt 7, which is a coprocessor not available exception. This exception occurs in either of two conditions. So the first condition is when the processor encounters an escape instruction and the EM bit of the control register 0 is set. And the second case when this exception is caused is when the processor encounters either the wait instruction or escape instruction and both the MP, that is monitor coprocessor, and TS, that is task switch bits of CR0 register are set. Interrupt 8, which is a double fault exception. Normally, when the processor detects an exception while trying to invoke the handler for a previous exception, the two exceptions can be handled serially. But if the processor cannot handle them serially, then it triggers a double fault. So, to determine when two faults are to be signaled as double fault, the 80386 processor divides the exception into three classes, that is Benning exception, contributory exception, and page fault exception. As you can see in the diagram, if the first exception is page fault, and at the same time when the processor is handling that exception and another page fault exception is arised, then it reports into a double fault exception. Interrupt 9, which is coprocessor segment overrun exception. This exception is raised in protected mode of the processor when processor detects a page or segment violation while transferring a data to coprocessor operand to the numeric coprocessor. Interrupt 10, which is invalid TSS exception. Interrupt 10 occurs if during a task switch the new TSS is invalid. There are different cases for which this invalid TSS exception is raised, like when the limit in the TSS descriptor is less than 103, when an invalid LDT selector or LDT not present is reported, when the segment selector is outside the given limit, when the stack segment is not writable, when the stack segment DPL, that is the descriptor privilege level, does not match the new CPL, and so on. So this invalid TSS, it is a fault which can occur either in the original task or in the new task. Interrupt 11, which is segment not present exception. This exception occurs when the processor detects that the present bit of descriptor is 0. There are different cases when this fault is reported, like when attempting to load the CS, DS, ES, FS or GS registers, when attempting to load the LDT register with an LLDT instruction, and while attempting to use the gate descriptor that is marked not present. So the main reason that segment not present exception is raised is when the present bit of descriptor is 0. Next is interrupt 12, that is stack exception. A stack exception is a fault which occurs in either of two cases, that is as a result of limit violation in any operation that refers to the stack segment register, and while attempting to load the stack segment register with a descriptor that is not marked present but is otherwise valid. Interrupt 13 is the general protection exception. General protection exception is a fault which arises because of protection violation. There are different cases because of which this general protection exception is reported, like exceeding the segment limit when using the segment registers, exceeding the segment limit when referencing a descriptor table, when transferring a control to a segment that is not executable, or writing into a read-only data segment or into a code segment, then reading from an executable only segment, loading the stack segment register with only a read-only descriptor, loading the stack segment registers with the descriptor of system segment, then loading the segment registers with the descriptor of executable segment that is not also readable, loading stack segment register with the descriptor of an executable segment, accessing the memory via segment registers which contains a null selector. This general protection exception is also reported when the processor is switching to a busy task, or it is violating privilege rules, or it is loading the control register when the PG bit is set and P is equal to 0, and interrupt or exception via trap or interrupt gate from the virtual 86 mode to privilege level other than 0. These are the few of the conditions when this general protection exception is reported. Next is interrupt 14, which is a page fault exception. This exception occurs when paging is enabled, that is PG bit of the CR0 register is set and the processor detects one of the following conditions while translating a linear address to physical address, where the page directory or the page table entry needed for the address translation has 0 in its present bit, and the second case is when the current procedure does not have sufficient privilege to access the indicated page. Last is interrupt 16, that is coprocessor error exception. The processor reports this exception when it detects a signal from 80287 or 80387, that is coprocessor, on 80386 error input pin. The 80386 tests this pin only at the beginning of certain escape instruction and when it encounters a wait instruction while the EM bit of MSW is 0. Thank you.